Greetings and welcome to Match Play, folks. I'm Ray Adams, and thank you for joining me today. We're at the beautiful Legacy Golf Resort here in Phoenix, Arizona. The staff here does such a wonderful job, and I'm joined today by a very special guest from the PGA Tour, Sepp Straka. Sepp, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we're going to get right to it with Sepp, and I've got to ask you though, being from Austria and being the only person in PGA Tour history from Austria to have status and make it onto the PGA Tour. You're in your third season. Did you know that was history making, what you were doing?
I did. I knew that there hadn't been a golfer from Austria on the PGA Tour, and there were definitely some guys I looked up to when I was younger. Marcus Breer was one of them. He was always one of my idols, Austrian golfer. And but yeah, I knew once I got to the PGA Tour that I was the first one.
Well, we all know, of course, the great German golfers like Bernhard Langer. Did you grow up playing golf starting at age 11, I believe it was? You and your brother Sam were soccer players, of course, being Europeans and growing up and being born in Vienna and growing up in Austria there. But age 11, I guess your dad put you two into a golf clinic together, or a camp of some sort for golf. And one thing led to the other, and you also are fraternal twins with Sam, your older brother. He's a lot older than Sepp. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We said that together. We practiced that. He's 2 minutes older, but you did say, I read somewhere in an article about you that you did say that you did follow his lead. Not because you're 2 minutes older, but because apparently, for whatever reasons, you tend to follow his lead on things. And when you got into golf, you said, hey, we're going to stay here and play golf. And so you just started playing golf.
Exactly right.
Tell me about that story and getting started in golf and growing up in Austria before you came to America.
Yeah, like you said, we were always big soccer players. Soccer and baseball, that was our two sports. And then we did a summer camp in Austria. And from then on, it really, Sam really got into golf, and he wanted to play that and quit soccer. And so I played soccer for a little longer, but then I followed his lead. And yeah, like you said, he's 2 minutes older. He's proud of it, and he acts like it too. So I've always been kind of the younger brother in that sense.
So he's the big brother.
He is.
Now, I know that Sam got pretty good at golf pretty quickly. How did you do?
I was always kind of in his shadow. He was always a better golfer. He hit it forever. He still hits it forever. I mean, he bombs it. And yeah, growing up, I was always kind of the second best. He was always shooting better than me, winning tournaments, and we always had a little bit of a rivalry going. So I think that definitely helped me.
So does he have bragging rights still, or I think maybe you might have some bragging rights now?
I think at this point I might have surpassed his bragging rights, but he still, I mean, he still plays great golf, and we always have a good match when we play against each other.
Now, your mother's an American that went over to Vienna, Austria, and she was working at a golf course and over there, and she sold a glove to a very nice man who was an architect, and he became her husband and your dad.
That's right, yeah.
They met on the golf course, so all of this was really sort of this was meant to be.
Kind of, yeah, but it was in Salzburg. It wasn't in Vienna. He was from Vienna, but he was in Salzburg playing a golf tournament.
Oh, it was in Salzburg. Okay, thanks for correcting that.
But,
makes a huge difference.
It does. It's big in Austria.
Oh yeah. All right, so they get married. They have a couple of boys, twins, and then at 11 you start playing golf, and then at age 14, your mom wakes up one day and announces, "I'd kind of like to go back home to America to be near family." What did Dad say about that?
It wasn't that sudden. It was a little longer planned, but
tell me about it.
But yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. He kept his architecture business in Austria, and so he had to kind of go back and forth, spend a lot of time in Austria and in Valdosta, Georgia. And it was a little hard on him, but my mom had spent so much time over there. He was open to doing it for sure. And yeah, it's led to here.
So your mom is from Georgia, and so that's why Valdosta.
Exactly.
All right, so through high school, you're going to high school now in Georgia. Was that a big transition for you coming from Europe, being a European, being Austrian, speaking German? Although I know you spoke English from almost day one as well at home because of your mom. But was that a big transition to not only come to the United States on a permanent basis, but coming into the southern part of the United States? What about that?
The cultures are very different,
Yeah,
for sure.
I guess so.
But I was very used to it. We had spent a lot of time visiting my grandma and my grandpa in South Georgia.
So you knew what you were getting into.
I knew what I was getting into, for sure. But it was still a pretty big adjustment.
All right, so through high school, tell me how you did with golf. You and Sam continued to play?
Yeah, that's when we really kind of had our big battles. He was a great golfer in high school. He, shot in the 20s before me. He did all the stuff before I did.
You were both on the same high school golf team?
We were, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good team.
Was he a year ahead of you in school, being a lot older?
Didn't quite work out that way.
I'm teasing. All right. So high school, you both played golf. He was a better player still. Then what happened? You went to the University of Georgia, which is a internationally well-known research university, rated R1 for research, but also a Georgia Bulldog.
That's right.
Tell me about being a Bulldog and being on the Georgia team.
It was awesome. I mean, that was probably the 5 best years of my life.
Did you know you were going to go to the University of Georgia all along, or is that something that just came about when you were being recruited by different schools?
We were always Georgia football fans. We grew up watching the games, so we knew we wanted to go there, but I wasn't, like I said, as good of a golfer as Sam. So I feel like he kind of put the spotlight on me with that whole recruiting process.
Did Sam get a scholarship to go to the university as well?
Yeah, we both played there together.
So you both went to University of Georgia together as well, and both played on that golf team.
That's right. We spent a lot of time together.
Unbelievable. You guys. Now, of course, obviously, Mom and Dad were following your career, and they were taking you everywhere and going everywhere with you. But it's nice that you stayed in Georgia and went to school, great university. What did you major in? What was your education?
I did business management.
Biz management. Now, did you know at that time, when you were finishing out with being a Georgia Bulldog at the university, did you know at that time, did you have aspirations of the PGA Tour? And so did Sam, I presume.
Sam kind of in college decided he wasn't really gonna, his senior year, he decided he was gonna go into the business world and not do the golf route. And
he did?
He did, yeah.
Were you a little surprised by that?
A little bit, but not too much. I think he got a little burnt out in college and high school.
Okay.
Didn't really like the travel as much as I did. But yeah, I definitely kind of latched onto the golf dream when I was there at Georgia.
All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Sepp Straka's move to the PGA Tour, how he got there, and lots more. Stay with me.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
We all love comfortable and good-looking golf shoes, but what if changing your brand could actually help your golf game?
I put the squares on. I gained 5 miles an hour club head speed with my driver. My handicap's down to a 14 from 18 and a half.
When I noticed with the squares, they were comfortable, I immediately felt more stability.
These shoes are designed with the latest performance technology and engineered to give you increased balance and stability. And in testing, they're proven to help you add distance. You'll hit it squarer, sweeter, straighter, and longer. I love the look of them, and with the extra width, they're the most comfortable golf shoes I've ever worn. To feel good and play my best, I wear squares. Now you can wear them too. Just go to getsquares.com to find out more. That's getsquares.com.
Do you like Tour Edge?
I love Tour Edge.
This is seriously high tech.
And they're long, right, Duff?
Built in the USA? Oh, I love that.
I need forgiveness.
Did I mention these puppies are long, really long?
You know why I love Tour Edge? It's because I win with it. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Kathleen, and we're the owners of American Vision Windows.
You know, it's been 20 years since we started American Vision Windows.
And we're still revolutionizing the home improvement industry, one customer at a time.
In celebration of 20 years, American Vision Windows is partnering with Simonton Windows to create our very own exclusive window.
And now we're introducing the Inspiration Collection, so see the difference that new windows can make in your home.
No payments, no interest up to 12 months or payments as low as $99. AmericanVisionWindows.com.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
Welcome back to Match Play, and my guest today, of course, Sepp Straka. When we went to break, Sepp, we talked about you being in college as a Bulldog, and then you had aspirations of the tour. What was your transition from being a university golfer, collegiate golfer, onto the tour? I believe you went to the Canadian Tour and started playing golf there.
I did, yeah. I did Q School for Canada and got conditional status out there and played 6 events and missed my first 5 cuts. And I thought that this was a lot harder than I had set out to be. But
was it harder playing on the Mackenzie Tour in Canada than playing collegiate golf?
The competition is just so deep. You know, the collegiate golf tournaments, you've got 70 guys in a tournament. Now you got 156, and everybody's really good at golf. So it definitely is a step up.
What did you do to change, or what did you change to move into that top tier of golfers? Because I know you went to Q School after that for the Korn Ferry Tour, which at that time was the web.com, and you actually got status on the what is now the Korn Ferry Tour.
I did.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I didn't really change a whole lot. I knew my game was pretty good. I knew I hit the ball good, and in Canada, I missed a lot of cuts by a shot, so I knew I was pretty close. So I really just kind of stuck with it, just tried to keep working on my short game, and ended up getting through.
Canadian pro golf on the Mackenzie Tour versus Korn Ferry golf.
It's another step up.
Another step up.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're that much better.
I'd say the top guys are probably about the same, but it's just a lot deeper. You know, everybody's got a chance to win. And yeah, I mean, if you don't bring your A game, you'll pack your bags on Friday.
You figured out pretty quickly that is the go low tour.
For sure. Yeah, you need to putt the ball out there.
So when you were transitioning into the Korn Ferry Tour and you were playing there, I think you did that for what, a couple of 2 or 3 years?
I did 2 years on the Korn Ferry.
You were right down in August, and you had already sent your money in to go back to the Korn Ferry qualifying school because you hadn't played well enough to have status for the future of your play, and you won.
That's right.
Tell me about that win on the Korn Ferry Tour in August.
That was huge. I mean, that really just kind of turned my whole golf career around.
Where were you?
I was in Kansas City. Greatest city on earth.
Because of that.
Because of that.
Your first professional win.
It was, yeah. And yeah, I had missed the last 3 cuts in a row. I hadn't had any top 10s. I hadn't played well all year. And I felt like I was really close. I felt like I was hitting the ball really good. My putting was very streaky. When it was on, it was on. When it wasn't, it was just terrible. So going in.
There's a lot of guys out there like that.
There is.
Where they're either rolling everything in, or some days the hole is the size of a dime.
Yeah, I feel like putting in general is very streaky part of golf in general. I don't think there's anybody who always putts well. So,
yeah.
But
what was your brother Sam doing at this time as far as advising you, working with you, following you? I mean, where was he at in all of this transition from university to the Mackenzie Tour, now to the Korn Ferry Tour? You win in Kansas City. So you don't have to go to Q School. You got status on the PGA Tour right after that, correct? What was Sam, how was his involvement with you then?
I feel like he's always my voice of reason. You know, he golf's a pretty emotional game. So when you call him, you tell him, oh, how bad you are and how bad this is. And he's like, hey, dude, I'm going to the office every day. You're going to play golf every day. I think you're all right. So yeah, he's always my voice of reason.
Now you're tall, I believe about 6'3", correct? Is that an advantage to be a tall golfer on the PGA Tour?
I think so. I think it can only help with distance. But yeah,
distance, is that a big issue?
I think it's getting less of an issue now.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Well, we just had a commentator who is a British Open champion call it bomb and gouge, the new way to play golf. Have you seen a lot of that out there where it's just hit it as far as you can hit it, it doesn't matter where it goes, Seth?
I'd say most of the guys on tour are not that way.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say most of the guys that you play with are still. I mean, everybody hits it far now. You know, your average is now 300 yards. So
what's your average?
I'm not sure. I don't really know, but
300 yards.
Just over 305.
305. Okay. We'll call Sam and find out exactly.
Exactly. But I'd say most of the guys still put an emphasis on hitting in the fairway, because if you don't hit it 350 and you're in the rough, then you're really in trouble. So, but there are a few guys out there that just they hit it so far that it almost doesn't matter. They obviously have to hit it within the hole, but it doesn't matter as much whether they hit the fairway or the rough.
Now, I've been covering, the PGA Tour and LPGA Tour and golf all around the world now for 21 years on my radio shows, as well as, of course, now for 10 years interviewing great players like you on Match Play television show. I've seen your name on the leaderboard many, many, many times over the last 3 years. How close have you got, and where are you headed?
I've gotten pretty close.
I know.
I've had a lot of
Tell me one that got
weeks.
away. Tell me about one that got away.
I would say probably in Lexington last year at the Barbasol. I feel like I really, I played great. I played great all days, but two guys just took it extremely deep. And I had a couple of bad holes on Saturday or early Sunday, and they kind of put me out of it. But yeah, that's probably one that got away. But I feel like I'm heading in the right direction. I feel like if I keep putting myself in that position, I'll be there eventually.
Absolutely. All right, what are you working on in your game right now? Tell the folks what you're working on, and maybe that'll help them be able to work on their game a little bit too.
Right now, just being more consistent with the putting. Just making sure I have the same setup every time. I feel like my setup gets off a lot, so just want to have the same setup, and from there you make the same. It's easier to make the same stroke. So that's the number one thing I'm working on.
All right, when we come back with Sepp Straka, stay with me right here on Match Play. We're going to be talking to him about a new sponsorship, and we're going to be talking to him about what he loves to do when he's not playing on the PGA Tour.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
What's the difference between good and great? Good treats you like a customer. Great treats you like a friend. From saving your haircut details and clip notes to saving you time with online check-in, Great Clips makes your life easier, just like a great friend should. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With clip notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great Clips, it's gonna be great.
Being able to, tee it up and look down at your square toes and see exactly where you're lined up. It's not only great on the range, but really nice on the course. Being able to have an extra tool is great on the tee box. With this square-toed front, not only is it great for my alignment, but I just have a lot of room, and I just feel really comfortable. Think of these shoes more as equipment as opposed to apparel.
Bobby Jones, 30 years of classic style for the modern man, now brings you the Jones Performance Cotton Polo. Lightweight and luxurious cotton hand feel with moisture-wicking comfort. The Jones Performance Cotton Polo is engineered with an exclusive blend of carefully selected cotton and the optimal balance of modal and spandex. Superior comfort, style, and versatility. Get it all in the Jones Performance Cotton Polo.
The work that makes our courses playable also protects a diverse ecosystem of wildlife, and it's all done by your golf course superintendent. Return the favor. Say thanks today.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
Welcome back to Match Play with Sepp Straka today. We continue on. Sepp, here you are on the PGA Tour now. You have status. You're excited. You've made it. The first Austrian person to ever play on the PGA Tour. You've made history. I know your family obviously proud, and you're excited, but probably a little bit nervous.
For sure.
And were you awestruck growing up seeing all these great players, and now here you are competing against some of them?
Yeah, no doubt.
How did it feel?
I was a little starstruck for sure.
Were you?
Especially early on. You get caught I remember I got paired early on with Adam Scott, and I remember watching him growing up. One of the greatest golfers in the game, and I remember that round he played incredible, and I'm just watching him play golf. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm playing the same tournament.
Sure, yeah.
So
you
just
kind of lose sight of your own game because at that time you were transitioning in to being starstruck and being with all these famous golfers, the greatest in the world. But I'm sure your brother reminded you that you were also one of the greatest golfers in the world at that point.
Yeah, no doubt.
Or you wouldn't have been there.
Exactly.
All right, now as your confidence continues playing on the PGA Tour, you also begin to be approached by sponsors and companies that want you to endorse them and be an ambassador for them. Give the viewers an insight as to what it's like to be a young player on the PGA Tour and start making money the other way that you guys make money, not just in prize money every week, but in sponsor money. How does that happen? Give us a little bit of a 101 on how that happens.
So basically, I'm with Wasserman Management Group, and
I think that's Ricky Fowler's.
That's right,
and several others.
Yeah, they've got a couple of guys out there, and my agent, he kind of deals with all of that. I'm not a big business savvy person, so
even though he got the degree in business management from one of the greatest universities in the world. Come on.
I made C's though.
You made C's?
I did, yeah.
Too much golf.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Don't pay attention to that, folks. Make your kids get A's. Okay.
But yeah, he kind of approaches me with potential possibilities, and then we kind of talk it out and see what's a good fit.
So who were some of your sponsors who was your very first sponsor?
My very first sponsor was Shrixon, obviously from a golf standpoint.
Shrixon.
But
we would have never known that, would we have? We would have never known that Shrixon was his big sponsor. How much did they pay you? Oh, you can't tell us that. They're teasing. Now you have a brand new sponsor, and my understanding is that when you saw these shoes, the Squares golf shoes, who have been written up by every imaginable golf organization, they've been named Shoes of the Year. They've been named by me my Product of the Year. Squares has really made a major impact as a piece of golf equipment and not just a pair of golf shoes. When you first put those on or saw those shoes, you were quite taken with them, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
Why?
They're extremely comfortable. That was what I was looking for. I was looking for a comfortable golf shoe. I've got some weird toes.
You have weird toes?
That need some space.
There'll be photos on the screen later.
And so I was looking, my first thing was a comfortable golf shoe, and I found that with the Squares.
Well, what you were referring to in all seriously, though, is that your toes lay flat right next to each other in the normal, natural position in Squares golf shoes.
Exactly.
And that's what I loved about them, too. Otherwise, most golf shoes, which are pointed, toed, cause your toes to scrunch up like this.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And so therefore you got more balance, you got more stability. Tell me about it. Did you notice when you were wearing Squares right at the onset and you were hitting those bombing drivers out there, did you feel more comfortable, more at ease, more confident? And were you hitting the ball a little further because of Squares?
Yeah, for sure.
You noticed it?
Yeah. So like I said, my first thing was comfort, and then I put them on and went and played golf. And as soon as I was on the range, the stability is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the most stable golf shoe by far that I've ever worn.
Unbelievable what Squares has done in the market, and for so many reasons, this ground force reaction, they have the torque system built right into the shoe. But what I really am interested in too, Sepp, is how they have the pressure points of the spikes at the bottom on the bottom of the shoes. It's been said to me that Ben Hogan had 21 or 22 spikes in his golf shoes for stability. These have the pressure point spikes in completely different places than most other golf shoes, if you can even find a pair that have spikes anymore. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, they're in all the places where you would want to have the stability and the support with a spike. I haven't really slipped at all wearing these shoes. And yeah, I mean, anywhere you want the stability, anywhere where you want the grip, they have it.
So earlier we were able to get you into the K-vest and on the body track mat, and we were able to get some wires attached to you and get some numbers. That was a lot of fun. Tell me, what did that translate to you as far as distance, as far as your game, your swing, wearing the Squares golf shoes, and others? What did that translate to you earlier today?
It's really cool to see the things that I feel in the golf swing on a screen, basically. They were just kind of confirming that, you know, these shoes really maximize my ground forces, the way I use the ground to create speed.
Let's stop there for a second. Ground forces. And we're hearing a lot of that recently. It used to be you never heard about that. But any athlete, amateur like you and me, or professional like you, Sepp, we're dealing with the ground. Baseball, football, soccer, golf. We're interacting with the ground. We are communicating through our body, through our feet, through our shoes with the ground. What does ground force reaction mean to you? And how do you use the ground as a golfer to be a better player? The folks would love to know that.
I would say it's your best swings. You just really feel like your feet kind of all move in one motion towards the target. Your feet don't move, but your body, you know, your pressure transfers towards the target in one motion. And I feel like using all that technology kind of just shows me the things that I feel without, you know, seeing it on a screen.
Yeah, yeah. What do you like to do when you're not playing golf and you're not wearing your Squares golf shoes? What do you like to do?
I love sports. I'm a big Georgia football fan, so I kind of obsess over the Georgia football.
Is that where you make home, is still right there in Georgia?
I live in Birmingham, Alabama, so I'm in enemy territory over there.
You live in Alabama. Why would you move there?
My girlfriend.
He has a girlfriend.
I have a girlfriend.
Tell me about her.
She's great.
If you said anything else, you'd be sleeping on the patio.
That's right.
That's great. Okay, so Birmingham, Alabama, and you are in enemy territory. What else do you like to do? Are you a lot of PGA Tour players have told me that when they're not playing golf, they love to get out on their boat and go fishing. Are you a fisherman at all?
I'm not. My brother, he's a big fisherman, and he always tried to get me to go, but I'm not a big. Yeah, I'm not a big fisherman. I'd rather sit at home. I'm a big Braves guy too, so they take up a lot of time.
Okay, the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, they play a lot of games.
Georgia Bulldogs.
So,
I read that the Georgia Bulldog mascot has been for generations bred and provided to the school by the same family. Is that true?
Right. That's right, in Savannah.
University of Georgia. Unbelievable. Sepp, thanks so much for joining me today on Match Play TV. Make sure, folks, you follow him on the leaderboards of the PGA Tour as he plays around the country, and follow us on Match Play TV.
Do you like Tour Edge?
I love Tour Edge. This is seriously high tech.
And they're long, right, Duff?
Built in the USA? Oh, I love that.
I need forgiveness.
Did I mention these puppies are long, really long?
You know why I love Tour Edge? It's because I win with it. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.